Welcome back to Jerry Rigged. Here we have the beginnings of my solar heating panel, supplemental solar heating panel is what I'm going to call it. So right now it's simply a 2x6 frame, a piece of OSB. There's an 1.5 inch gap on the bottom that I'm going to use to put a piece of styrofoam in for insulation. I haven't attached the one side yet because I'm going to need to slide the manifold into position. So alright, here's the pipes for the top and bottom of the manifold. You see I've got many holes drilled in there, actually 22 holes drilled in there for pieces of copper tubing to go into. Alright, this is a little jig that I made for cutting the copper tubing. So I just took a scrap piece of PVC pipe, put the copper tubing in the middle. The pipe's cut to the exact length I need the tubing to be. All I have to do is get it flush with the end, mark the other end, and then slide it through until I see the mark, cut it off and repeat. Here you see all 22 pieces of the 1/4 inch soft copper tube laid out. That's basically how it's going to look. Now it's time for soldering. Lots and lots of soldering. Next step is completed, and you can see the heat exchanger manifold is finished, in place. I got these brackets here that are going to not only hold the manifold in place, but also keep the copper tube pressed down to the bottom. Now, the next step is one that I'm really not looking forward to. It's going to be a very hot, nasty, smoky job, but I'm going to cover the copper tubes and the manifold with lead, which is going to be, like I said, a hot, nasty, smoky job. Now, it's time for the nasty part. I'm going to fill this area on the manifold with lead, because lead's a very heavy metal and it will hold heat, lots and lots of heat. But you're also dealing with some very high temperatures and very toxic substances and a lot of smoke. So I'm not going to be recording this because a situation this dangerous, unnecessary distraction is just unacceptable. So you see I've got one side of the manifold is hooked up to my air compressor. I'm going to circulate air through the manifold to help cool the lead off as quickly as possible. I've got my N95 mask ready to go. And you see the forge is ready. So I'll be back when it's done. Well, it's done. Actually went really well. It was a lot easier than I was expecting, and a lot less smoke than I was expecting too. I think maybe cooling down the lead with the compressed air probably kept the OSB from burning from the hot lead, but I don't know. But there we go. Now I'll just paint the whole thing black and put the cover on it, and it'll be ready to go on the wall. Then we get to start on the inside unit. As you can see, I have my full face shield, mask, and welding gloves, because when you're working with something this dangerous, there's just no such thing as too much safety equipment. Well, here it is, ready to go on the wall. You see, I got it sealed up. There's my mounting bracket on top. There's a bottom mounting bracket that's going to be mounted to the wall outside, so I can rest it on there, and then you hold it in place while I did the top mounting bracket. So it took a lot more lead than I was expecting, though. I was anticipating this to be about 50 pounds. Well, it's 113 pounds. So getting it outside and up on the wall, especially by myself, could be a bit challenging. And you can see there's the back with the 1.5 inch styrofoam insulation. So now, time to get it mounted, and then I get to start on the heat exchanger. So we'll be back when that happens.